Alrighty, we've had multiple days off with the Arnold. Got back on Monday. However, drove back, so I ran into a double semi accident in the West Virginia mountains between the tolls. So if you've been there, you know there are 0 exits where you can get out. And that all happened in roadwork. So I was at 2 hours of dead stop traffic in the mountains. Initial ETA was like 12:05 in the morning. So I was going to be able to beat it a little bit, get there just before midnight. And then we got back at about 1:45 in the morning. So I took some time off yesterday. Took another day of PTO. But Arnold was wonderful. Honestly, I hate the expo hall, so like the main event center. But our actual USAW event was probably one of my favorite meets, national meets that I've ever been to. People were great. Overall weekend was great. Everyone did awesome, all that jazz. Jesse, 5 for 6. Rachel, 6 for 6. Amber, 5 for 6. I believe PRs for everyone in something. I believe. Probably going to do a video to talk about each one of those people individually. But for now, we are on our way to go vote in the North Carolina primaries. So if you live in North Carolina, go vote today. But we're going to talk about coaching in general coming off of the Arnold. So, coaching, you are never the limelight. The goal of a coach should not be for the accolades of whatever you get your athletes to. Like if you get them to just local, national, international, whatever. Coaches are meant to be in the background. Your goal as a coach is to just develop the athlete to become the best possible athlete and person that they can be. A coach is meant to take all of the blame when something goes wrong and none of the credit when something goes right. You should not be saying, you should not have an athlete be successful and then taking credit for that. You see this a lot in football where someone will have worked with someone for a little bit, like someone who's now in the NFL. Hey, I used to work with that guy in college. We did this. This is why he's this good now. Or you see the opposite of, hey, I used to work with this guy. He lacked at this, and that's why he got injured. Or all of these fucking sideline coaches. Oh, all these ACLs happened in the NFL this year. It's because of this. They're not doing this exercise. All of that just bullshit. Your goal as a coach is to just put your athlete in the best position possible to succeed. Whatever that success may look like. The success is going to be very person and event dependent. It may not always be PRs. But regardless, your goal is not any sort of accolade. Your goal is not to gather up as many medals as you can, to level up as much of a coach as much as you can, whatever the case may be, or like 3, 4, 5, whatever the case it is. It is simply to just help people develop. Which, that is the easy part. It is very, very easy to be happy for your athletes when they are successful. It is very, very easy to then also take credit for that success and say, yeah, it's because of my program that you got here. It's because of XYZ. We did these exercises. That's why you got there. Yet, on that other end of the coin, no one wants to take responsibility for the blame. Everyone then wants to blame it on circumstances, the travel, this, that, whatever it is. But it is never the coach's fault. No coach ever takes blame for the failures of an athlete, for whatever goes wrong in competition. Both those, the exact opposite of what you should be doing. A coach should not be taking credit or trying to claim that it was something that they did that made the athlete successful. The only thing I ask from my athletes is to just give 100% day in, day out. Just put their best foot forward, train as hard as they can, do their best. My goal is to then just help guide them where they need to go. It's to help put the plans in place to get them where they want to go. So my actual role is very minimal. I am not doing any of the work. I'm not doing jack fucking shit except putting shit in a spreadsheet, putting shit in Train Heroic, saying, hey, go do this. I take as little credit as possible for my athlete's success because honestly, like, I have the easy job here. I am just using what I already know. I'm using things I've already tested. I'm sure I'm coming up with some shit and like I'm using my brain. Like, it's not just like that easy. But all I'm doing is developing a roadmap for an athlete to succeed and to be successful. The athlete is the one putting in that day in, day out work to get better. They're the ones going up on the platform and doing the shit. You as a coach have nothing to take credit for because all you're doing is sitting behind a fucking computer screen. Sure, you may have an in-person athlete and you stand there and you watch their reps. Like, it's really not that fucking hard. You're not doing that much work. Like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Like, I got a pretty cushy gig. Weightlifting coaching, it's really like a pretty cushy gig. Coaching for the Army, it's a pretty cushy gig. Being a strength coach, weightlifting coach, whatever, it's a pretty easy job for what we got to do, just hang out, watch lifting all day. Coaches have nothing to take credit for because all you are doing is providing a path, giving the roadmap for the athlete to succeed. But coaches have everything to take responsibility for when failure occurs. If failure occurs, you need to take responsibility for that. I've started tracking from every meet every athlete has done since we've been together. Which attempts did you make? Which did you miss? To try to get a sense of, hey, better sense of our attempt selection. I noticed with Amber specifically, we've done 2 meets together. This was our 3rd together. Throughout those first 2 meets, she had not made a 3rd attempt snatch or a 3rd attempt clean and jerk. Granted, second meet, she had her menstrual cycle, so that definitely threw that off completely. So because of those 2 data points, one of them being a only 1 every 4-week event, I didn't really take that data with much. We go in, we do the Arnold, she misses her 3rd attempt snatch, she makes her 3rd attempt clean and jerk. So looking at the data now, hey, we have never made a 3rd attempt snatch. Our approach to snatches has been relatively the same. It's usually 3 kilo jumps. Now, that is my fault that she missed that 3rd attempt snatch. Looking at that, my attempt selection is a big reason and is what I'm saying is the reason for those missed lifts. I am not putting her in a place, in the best place possible to succeed because going forward now, those jumps from 2nd to 3rd attempt need to be smaller. Just simply because we see the data. Hey, she has never made a 3rd attempt snatch since we've been together in those 3 meets. She has now clean and jerk, so now that's like a 33% success right there. But either way, I'm seeing the trends of, hey, the data pool we have is extremely small. But we can start to see, hey, 2nd and 3rd attempts, you really start to get fatigued, whatever the case may be of why she misses. It doesn't really matter in this sense. It's just, hey, this is a trend. This is what we're seeing. I have done a poor job of setting you up for success in that 3rd attempt by keeping up with that 3 or 4 kilo jump to the end. So what we need to do is stick with just 2 kilo jumps from that 2nd to 3rd attempt so I can put you in a better position to succeed. This is not a fault of Amber or whatever athlete that, hey, you just got to be stronger in that 3rd attempt. No, I'm the one who's giving the calls. We are collaborating, but I'm the one at the end of the day putting my signature on that card. And she's not making those lifts. All right, cool. What can I do better to put her in a better position to succeed? Coaches need to take 0% of the credit for the successes. You are not the reason your athlete's succeeding. You are giving them the path to succeed, but they're the ones actually doing the fucking work. You're not doing any fucking work. But you need to take 100% of the blame because if you are providing the map, you are providing the guidelines to get your athlete there, and if you are not giving them an adequate program, if you're not taking into account everything that you need to put them into that position to succeed, that is your fault. Even looking at, like, let's say, hey, they just traveled cross country, they're on their period, they're on all these different things. All right, well, if you chose the attempts poorly, not taking those into consideration, that's your fucking fault. Like, yes, they may not be able to lift as much because of travel, because of fatigue, because of XYZ. But if it is your job to take all of that into account, oops, sorry, I'm trying to vote here and I don't know where the fuck I'm going. If you are not taking those into account, that is your fault. That is obviously one example there. There are plenty of other examples to go over, but I have arrived at my polling place now to vote. So I didn't see this a lot this year at the Arnold. I have seen this a lot more at other meets where you hear coaches being like, just, I don't even really know what to say in that example, but you see coaches being a little bit more harsh with their athletes, like not even joking about it, just like kind of like talking down to them. You see stuff where they miss and it's not an immediate like hug, console, and then talk about plans going forward and how you could do better next time as a coach to put them in a better position. It's, hey, this happened, you didn't do it because of this, or hey, we succeeded, we did all these things. I try my best as a coach, and like I'm obviously not perfect at it. Like I have currently 2 athletes qualified for nationals, one senior, one junior. And currently I am, one athlete is attempting to qualify as a junior and one athlete is attempting to qualify as a U25. If that junior athlete qualifies, I then make my advancement to a level 3 coach. So like there is something in there where like I have this deep desire, like, hey, I want this person to succeed a little bit selfishly. So obviously not perfect, but at the end of the day, all coaches need to try their best to to put every single ounce into that athlete, to put the athlete as first as much as you can. Because again, your goal is not to be in the limelight. No coach should be in coaching for the accolades, to be in the limelight, to get a national championship ring, whatever the sport may be. The goal is to help athletes become the best possible versions of themselves on and off the platform that they can be. And in order to do that, you need to let them have their successes. You need to elevate them to new levels. You need to let them feel those amazing emotions. And then also, you sometimes do need to let them feel those bad emotions of failure, but you need to not let that become, hey, you are a failure. You need to take that responsibility of the failures so that they can continue to progress. You need to put them in the best position to succeed. And if they are not succeeding, that is your fault. So that is my big rant there, is be a better coach. Make it less about you on the success and make it more about you on the failures. And go vote.